welcome to Go for Lethal. My name is Etabani.
I'm Dean Kazanov.
I'm Zach Chamberlain.
And I'm Chris Okamura.
And welcome to, after a long-winded hiatus, our first War in Iran edition of Go for Lethal. How are all of you doing?
That hit the fan way quicker than I thought it would.
I mean, let's just call out the elephant in the room. We know why the prices are high on all that. It's just because of the war in Iran. That's what Bandai's like. Goddamn, people are getting bombed. We got to raise the prices on all this product before the reprints. It's been a minute. How's everybody doing?
Doubling down. We're doing all right.
Alive.
Yeah? Hey, do you know that there's a war in Iran right now going on?
Great. Oh, triple down.
Yeah, triple down.
We're
triple down economics right here. We are back. It's been kind of a crazy time for the One Piece meta. You know, we've seen prices go up, prices go down. We have a lot to talk about today, and we got everybody in the building. Very quickly, we always start off these things with a hot take. Zach had a couple of takes that he wanted to give during this War in Iran edition. I'm gonna run this into the ground. All right, until I gotta break my fast. All right, let's go.
No pun on fourth is crazy, dude. He went for it.
4th and 20. And he ran the ball.
Actual 4th and 20,
right.
ran the ball. Yeah.
Are you ready for the special Iran Luffy promo that's gonna be debuted?
Oh my god!
Onside kick.
Fifth? Yeah. Oh my god! 4th and 20 QB sneak. What doing?
All right.
Stop doing.
All right.
Oh my god.
Zach. All right, Zach's had a couple hot takes. Let's throw them in and get started with this thing.
We'll start with the second one. Pudding is good for the game and should be replicated, not banned.
Okay.
Me when I lie. Actually, just me when I lie. Not even let you finish that take.
I don't think good for the game is the right thing. I think something to limit hand size is important. I
just want to say, I like how everybody, as soon as Zach said pudding is good for the game, everybody was just like, we're jumping you the next time we see you. Like, I was going to make another Iran joke, and I was like, we bombed the wrong target.
Oh
and
my god, 6 double down.
Yeah, I think there is a line in the sand of like where something becomes too degenerate, and I think pudding has a little bit crossed that line. But the argument I do make for the current state of the game is it's the only card that effectively does so. I think if you take pudding out, Bandai needs to print more cards that are in the vein of limiting hand size.
Fully agree. That's why it's replicate, not ban.
Well, okay,
Everyone gets a pudding.
If everybody gets a pudding, that's fine. But it's the same issue that I have with like Kid, like 8-cost Kid. 8-cost Kid is a wall that I feel like other colors don't have. Like, they have answers to, but they don't have replicated similar kind of things for. And I think that, like, remember when we were talking about all of these leaders getting the plus 2k or the base 7k power or the raid? Like, I thought that was a very cool mechanic. And now everybody getting their own version of Giant, right? I think that's cool. Like, their own Rad Beam and their own Giant, that balances it. I think playing blue decks specifically and just being like, well, I have to look out for pudding, and it's just this destabilizing thing, I think is a huge problem. Like, did you guys see the final with the guy, I forget, he was playing blue purple Luffy versus, I think it was a Boa, and it was like the blue purple Luffy gets pudding like very quickly, right? And then as the game goes on, stabilizes, somehow gets his shit together, and then gets pudding the second time.
Yeah, I think
and just kill. It was so and the guy was just swinging like 8, 10, just dawning up. I don't give a fuck.
I think the issue you run into, and again, it's something that I think Dean and I have conversations about. I think overall for the game, playing around pudding, totally fine. I think, you know, being able to play around your hand size and having that be a threat that blue has that no other color has, I think is totally fine. The play that you want to get rid of is, hey, I'm playing again. It's the last play. You're at 0 life. You have 6 cards in hand, 3 dawn up. My immediate move, the correct move, almost always, is to pudding you.
Yeah. It's a check.
Yeah, the shuffle just should not be a mechanic. Like, I'm sorry, the game doesn't have like hard searches like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and other really popular games. I mean, even Pokemon is full of hard searches, right? And by hard search, I mean
search your whole deck.
You have a card that lets you search your whole deck for a specific card, right? It directly converts to something. Like, if the fact that we have all these searchers that are top 5 and I'm stuck with sculpting my hand based on those, and then a 4-Don play can just completely invalidate like the searches I spent the first 3 turns like doing it, it's ridiculous, right? I don't think anybody would be crying. In fact, I think they have the perfect example because they've done it with the leaders in the past that they banned, right? Like RP Law, Sakazuki, Nami. They have the perfect example to just print the same card but have it be bottom deck cards from your hand until you have 5, and nobody will be upset.
That would be a perfectly balanced version of that.
Yeah, and I think that's also a great way to. I mean, like, first off, that's also, it keeps the checkmate in line, right? Because because if you're fighting somebody with like, I think you came up with like one of the best balancing tools in One Piece, if that's the case, you know, because it deals with so much. You know, also I think it makes it a better card too, because there's that threat. Well, no, here's why.
It's not a better card.
It's not a better
it's
card.
It's fundamentally
not a better card.
Because you're getting to then select the 5 you'd keep in hand, so you can keep just the most important cards.
Well, I mean, every time you play pudding.
Fair.
Well, okay, so I played in the Heroines Cup and did a pudding on somebody. Literally this situation, right? Pudding last turn, right? To try to get a giant out of their hand because they were playing Robin, and swing for lethal, right? And
go for lethal.
I was very worried. They had like, I think only 1 or 2 giants, like one more giant left in the deck, right? And my fear was like, are they going to redraw that same? How many times have you gotten pudding? There's plenty of times I've gotten pudding and gotten nearly the same hand, you know, from a draw.
That's just part of the cards, right? That's just part of the cards.
Yeah.
But like at that point,
there's always the chance that you completely brick out.
Yeah. Again, you're playing for the chance, right? Like again, if
it's me, dude, if it's me, it's every single time. Me and Chris were playing on webcam yesterday. I was in no like spot to possibly lose. I kill his Nami, the one that you can flip a life, right, and play another thing off it, because he has 2 cards in hand. I have 5 cards in hand. He plays a pudding after flipping his life and draws me into 5 bricks. Like, what? The I was playing Vivi. My Vivi list only runs 12 bricks.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this variance should not be possible, right? Like, it should just discard you down to 5. And I just don't even think there's an argument to keep putting in the game anymore. Like, they have to. If they hit Nami, which was not a problem, last ban list. They hit it preemptively because it was going to become a problem.
It's literally going to be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, sorry, you go, Zach, and then I'll.
Okay. And
well, I was going to say
the problem is we have life burn now that you cannot take away.
Yes.
That you can't stop. You go 5 cost Nami into 8 cost Kid or Nico Robin, and you just lose. Then they putting
7 cost Nico Robin. But yeah, I think the other thing with that too is
7
like,
cost Robin doesn't burn. 6 cost Robin burns.
Talking about the 6 one, yeah.
Oh, 6 cost. Oh, you're talking about 8 cost Kid. Yeah, I got you. Well, I think the other issue is like, you know, again, like I like those mechanics. Like when I see pudding, I like, again, old school Yu-Gi-Oh player. I loved Fiber Jar. I love Fiber Jar. I love Cyber Jar. I love Card Destruction, right? All of those were really cool mechanics of the game because it felt like a reset. Pudding doesn't feel like a reset. It feels like a fuck you, right? I feel like even what about a pudding that shuffled both of our hands into like what about that? What would you guys say to that?
No.
Just let me go down to 1 card in hand and then play that.
Yeah, then it's Iono.
Shuffling is just. No, but Iono is okay in Pokemon because it plays on like one player being super behind and they draw 6 while your opponent draws 1. And Iono is okay in a game where I can just I draw Ultra Ball
and you get everything back.
Not Ultra Ball because you have to discard other cards. But any hard search, right? The thing is, like, if I draw a search from my deck, like you putting me down to 5 cards, I draw a bunch of 2Ks or bricks and like 1 searcher. That searcher's not going to enable me to draw an out to the destruction you just did to my hand, right? Like, I just think they're fundamentally different. I really just wish they would just make it discard down to 5 or bottom deck down to 5. And blue can have that effect. Blue can have that and nobody else can have it. I'm fine with that. You know, Kuzan has Isho. Purple has the law, right? The
Black
the
has
4-drop
Nico
law that they're
Robin.
playing now. Yeah, black has. Yeah, so like every color kind of has like, pseudo like hand control effects. It's fine for blue to have the best one. Just make it discard. Don't make it. Gotcha.
What if all of your think about making pudding for every color though? That'd be kind of cool. Like if
No,
you
I
have a
think that
different
ruins
way
the
that
game.
everybody
No,
else.
That
that
ruins
would
the
become
game.
problematic.
Please no.
Yeah, because then
Oh my god.
Yes, my emu deck gets to put in you
yellow.
now.
You replace your life with all of your hand size or whatever.
Yeah.
no, that
Yeah.
Please
that's
no.
where you that's where you get that's exact Iono actually if you do that one.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think the giant effect was fine where they're like, okay, let's just give this to every color. Of course, giant will have the strongest one because it's Dawn -2, right? And as soon as you mitigate the deck that is able to, use that Dawn -2 most effectively, which is UP, they don't care that they go -2 because they still get leader effect. One deck has an amazing giant. The rest of the decks that had giant, like Robin, GP, Purple Luffy, Black Purple Luffy, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's not game winning, you know what I mean?
No.
Like you do have to like play it into like factoring what your next turn Dawn play is going to be. And I think they were smart to just be like, okay, let's just start giving everybody rad beams. They're not, as good as giant because they don't draw you cards, they don't replace themselves, but they decks have been fundamentally power crept since UP anyways. So I just don't think pudding is one of those cards that you should do that
and again,
for other
thing
colors.
The
Please.
thing is, again, even for
I'm
me,
not advocating for
right?
it. I was just doing a
topics, though,
hypothetical.
so
I
For
want
me,
that
we're
to
gonna
be
get
for me,
stuck
it's
on
not a
pudding.
matter of like. For me, it's not a matter of. Again, if we're talking about card mitigating effect, I think overall the pudding effect isn't like. Again, does it suck? And like, yeah, it's the strongest version of it. Yeah, I think the play that you want to get rid of is the. I have no out to win this, but if I pudding you at this last turn, I could potentially get this and swing for game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's a very tough strat. Like the only way I've ever gotten out of like a pudding was like really bluffing as hard as I can. They're like, oh man, like I played one match at Fire and Dice and I was like, oh man, my hand is so terrible because I knew he drew a pudding. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm so Brit, and then he didn't pudding the whole game. But I had to I don't want to go to acting class to avoid the most like toxic card currently in the meta.
Yeah, and I think it's toxic in a the early game. Don't get me wrong. If you go to 9 cards in hand against a blue deck early on,
You're just asking
what
for
doing,
it. Yeah, you're just
right?
asking for it.
Like
you're
you deserve to get puddinged. The issue is like we keep describing like this late game situation where you don't have that many cards in hand. Maybe you have 6 or 7. And it's never advantageous to
I don't
waste
even know
4
if I can
Dawn
do
to
this
discard.
anymore. I feel like it's dead at this point.
It should be. Let's please kill it. Actually, I can't kill it. It's too much part of my identity now. Well, it's never. That's why I always tell Chris, never advantageous to spend 4 Dawn to discard 1 card when using that Dawn would have produced the same effect anyways, right?
Again,
if not better.
But
Like
again,
using
in
4 Dawn
in
to be able to rip
some
2 or
cases,
3
you're
cards.
legitimately thinking like, again, if I'm playing against, it comes up a lot with like Mihawk, right? Or like anything that runs a lot of
they have
like
counter events
anything that runs
galore.
counter events that has like, okay, you have
Emu.
4 Dawn up. I have to pudding you. Even if you have 6 cards, I have to pudding you. I have to just take the risk here and see. Especially if I've seen you search and grab 3 Brad beams. Yeah, I have to pudding you here. Just and then you're playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Heart of the Cards, right? Like I think that's the toxic play is the end game heart of the cards. Like, fuck it, let's gamble and see what happens.
And it's not even that hard of the cardsy, I think like statistically, because throughout the game, like let's say the first 5 to 7 turns, you spend using counter, right? You spend using counter. You maybe once you get towards the end game, you play cards that are bricks like Rayleigh, Mihawk, La Beppo, these cards that don't have counter, but maybe you play 2 to 3 of them, right? That means they're all still stuck in the deck where you've been using your counter throughout the match and they're in your discard, so you don't get the chance. So I think statistically, because it's a shuffle effect, you run the risk of drawing more bricks, right? That's what, like, Emu does not run that many bricks. Emu runs what, 8 if you count the counter, or if you count the searcher event, which you're going to use throughout the game, right? Vivi, I was playing yesterday when we were playing webcam. I run 12 bricks. What are the chance I drop 5?
That's crazy.
But
yeah.
Statistically, it does get more likely, especially when you run into these decks that play so many bricks, right? Like Mihawk. Oh my god. I feel like nearly half of their deck is bricks. So
again,
I just think
like,
to cap this,
it's a
they just need to
drive-by
discard.
shooting on a Mihawk every time you throw that.
Yeah.
Oh
again,
yeah. It's awful.
Again, it's the thing of like Dean saying, where logically speaking, wasting the 4 Dawn to even make them lose 1 card or even go even and just get a new hand logically doesn't make sense. But because of the way the game functions and because of the shuffle effect, it is the correct play.
Yeah.
And like that shouldn't be the
Shouldn't
case.
exist. Yeah.
It shouldn't be the case.
I don't want to stick to too much pudding, but I think that's a good place. Any final thoughts on pudding mitigation and
I have one final thought.
What's your final
Thank
thought?
you, Zach, for talking about banning pudding or keeping pudding. When we said 30 seconds before we start, we're going to save the banlist talk for next week. So I don't know what we're talking about next week, but we'll find other cards to shit on.
I have so much more
I think that's a
to
fair
talk
request. There's more in the ban list that we'd like to talk about, right? It's just pudding is uniquely. I think right now in this meta, pudding is uniquely situated because what are the 2 of the best decks? It's blue yellow Nami and blue yellow Boa, and both of those have. Yellow's already gotten an insane power creep, but then get one of the most toxic cards from blue in there. And
I think it's the issue of yellow.
Man? Like,
I think yellow is probably the strongest consistent color right now. Plus, the support of blue is so strong.
Well, let's transition.
Real
Let's transition
quick,
it.
Before this, I'm not going to say it now. We'll save it for the actual ban list video. But I do have an idea of how you can fix the Boa and blue yellow Nami pudding problem that Chris specifically said of the whole end game version of it. I have one specific way.
Oh yeah, I already knew.
We talked
about this. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna save it for next video.
We'll save
They're
it.
not banning a card they haven't released yet.
No, they might
No. Don't worry. No,
bro. No. You know what this is?
We're not. They don't even know what we're talking about. That's what's so crazy.
I know.
Like, I don't.
Oh, dude, Borsa without Rayquaza really still fucking good.
I'm saying you lock Borso to Egghead.
So mine is nothing to do with Borsa.
We'll get to this. I have to be Ernie Hudson. We base this podcast around inside the NBA, and we're like, we're not that. Oh, we are. We're there. All right. Okay. Zach is Charles. All right. Talk about women in San Antonio. Chris is Ernie the and then Dean is.
Oh, I want to be talking about the woman down in San Antonio, please. That's my joke.
You have more championship experience, so you're clearly Shaq.
So I have to be Shaq?
Yes, you have to be Shaq. Shut it! You own a pizza restaurant.
I'll be Kenny Smith. That's fine. I'll be Kenny Smith. That's
bro.
fine.
You saved Papa John's. Why are you upset?
Yeah, and I put bootleg Jordans in Walmart.
I mean,
it's pretty on brand for me, actually.
Hey! I had those Kazam 2s.
And ones.
Okay? Yeah, those Kazam 2s.
Oh hell no!
All right, let's move on. We were already talking about the power of yellow and everything like that. We were already talking about where the meta's at. So let's move on to the heroines meta. As you know, or your wallet may know, EBO3 is out in the wild, and many people have been playing a very shifting and very interesting meta for the last few weeks. Also, there's the lovely heroine events that are going on, which, have their own little meta going because of the ban list and everything. Well, what leaders you can use and what leaders you can't. But there are some very, very strong cards that have been printed in this extra booster. I think some of the strongest we've seen in an extra booster, if you count EBO4 and EBO2 and EBO1. So I think my question is this. Obviously, there are buffs to yellow. Obviously, there are buffs across the board. Right now, in this meta, which has shifted from Emu, Ace, Zoro to Mihawk, Boa, Emu to like a pretty crazy jungle format where we kind of don't know where everything is. What are your guys' impression of the meta right now? Of the colors? Where do we go from here? How do we feel?
Blue yellow is the strongest color pair.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I feel like Nami
Love the
is-
energy on this first version of the War in Iran version of Go for Lethal.
Oh my god!
goodness.
Is that
What? Wait, okay. Sextuple is 6. What's 7?
Septuple.
Septuple.
Don't make
Septuple.
Septuple.
Yes.
Septuple down.
Yes.
Oh my god! No more football analogies.
Yeah, that one's
Oh,
crazy.
there you go.
We've run out of football analogies.
We've run out of football. But what are we doing? So blue yellow is the
I was
strongest
saying
color.
I don't know.
right?
No, I was reacting to what Zach was saying. I don't
I don't
know.
think so either.
I think Boa is great. I don't think it's like top of tier 1. I think it's definitely in tier 1 with that Nami now. But again, this is an unsearchable card in the deck that is only really good on 5 Dawn and maybe 7 Dawn, right? So I don't think it's that good. I will say this. Emu to me feels like the best deck in the format. Nami would be great if thank you. Nami would be great if Emu didn't exist. But it just gets cooked by Emu. Like I just think what EBO3 has pushed into this format is a lot, especially in combination with the first half of EBO4, because we have that over Japan, right? We have a lot of decks that are really good into the previous meta in that they're very removal centric, like Blue Purple Sanji, Blue Yellow Nami are really good. They've gotten great support and they're very removal centric. But if half of your deck just doesn't do anything against Emu, what do? Do you just concede those matches? Like
but
BV, you know.
But I think there's something to be said because look, like in terms of EBO4, right? Like East got the full EBO4 before us, right? And they got OP14 before us. But like, I think maybe, I mean, I'm looking at the results right now.
You meant EBO3 though, right?
No,
EBO3.
he's
Well, no, you don't even
Yeah.
EBO4. A
He's
full
saying
EBO4. They got a full
No,
set.
no. Well, they got it, but like it's not for like we have half of it before them, or we had half of it before
But we
them.
had
now
but
they-
that got corrected a
yeah.
month or two ago. Yeah, that's what
They
so
have
they've
full
had
EBO4
all of.
now.
Yeah, they have full EBO4.
Yeah, but I'd say the other half isn't really good except for Borsa is the only like real meta changing card.
I mean, I don't know, man, because I'm looking at the results right now, and it seems like if you're looking at the results, if you go right now to, I can share my screen and we can.
I think
implement
it's funny
it
that you
into
say
this.
they only got the Borsa. The Borsa is the most meta warping card that we've gotten in like a while.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know. One piece.
Yeah, but nobody like if
like
what's her
look at
name?
this.
If
Look at
Boa
this
didn't
very.
exist,
Look at this very quickly, right? Look at what we're dealing with. Okay, we're dealing with
how the
like
fuck do I zoom in?
it's Boa, Nami, Ace, Mihawk. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
I
one.
don't think this is
Yeah,
all
it's
stuff that we've
it's all
had. That's
stuff
what I
that we
mean.
had. Like this is all
I don't think EBO4 was that meta defining except
Borsa.
well, I'm saying their half, the half that we don't have, like the yellow, black, and red.
I think the one thing I'm pushing back on is Emu's best deck in format, because we're looking at pretty much the results, and Emu's not peeking out like we see with all the other tier 0 decks, right? I maybe
I
it's
don't
not
think
tier
it's tier
0
zero.
anymore.
I don't think it's tier 0. I
Yeah.
still think it's best deck. I don't think it's tier 0.
It's
But
best
it has
deck
so
in
many
matchups.
clear.
This is with Borsalina. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like, I think without Borsa,
click West EBO3. That's what we're looking at. We're not looking
West
at East.
EBO3.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh well, no.
I mean,
No,
that's,
no,
I
show up in the beginning.
checkmate. Like they're like because honestly, I think there are some real. I think what the fuck are you doing here? Where do you think you're,
Dude, did
sir?
even top it says
Sir?
unknown.
Sir, oh yeah, okay, all right, unknown, all right, but
Yeah,
like
these are
Yeah,
can
these
we-
are-
this is just locals, dude.
I saw an interloper and I had to call him
these are
out.
Here.
locals.
Let's just put everybody on free game, okay? Because me and Chris know about this. Go to Twitter if
Go
you
to
don't
Twitter?
mind exposing your
Why?
feed. Yeah, just go to
Yeah,
Twitter.
go to Twitter. Yeah, I'll-
Just trust me. Okay, go to username search and go OPHRATA. OPHIRATA.
Oh, you're giving them the tech.
I am. I'm giving them such
you're
sauce
giving
right
them the
now.
tech.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what actually performs in flagships.
Yeah.
You mean OP
In terms of
Hirata,
flagship
not
wins.
OP Rata?
No.
You
Okay, dude,
mispronounced
I was just
how?
spelling it for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is
Thank you.
Thank you. This is what is probably the best resource to use for Japanese. What's happening in Japan? This is Japanese flagships data.
Okay,
Okay.
that's cool.
So
That makes
You're giving
sense.
them the sauce, man. So then,
I am
so look,
giving them the
it's
sauce.
pretty open. And again, like you're seeing, this is with OPO4. So this is with
We keep going down. There's a lot. They do it by weekends and even days within the weekends. So you
But
can see
even
like a
Emu's
lot of bow
strong, but
representation
he's
and a
not-
lot of emu.
Yeah, but Emu's strong, but he's not. Like, see, here's the thing. Like, I can understand best deck in format on paper, but I don't think on paper is real. Oh my, your face is so big, Boa. This is the one with like 40, where half
But this
the
is
tournament
with Borsellino.
Yeah, this is
This is what I'm saying. This is
That's what I'm
with
saying. This is with,
Borsellino.
like max
Yeah.
power. So again, the thing is, like, Emu doesn't get anything from this upcoming. Like, it's the same power. But then you're talking about now giving. This is Boa with the probably the strongest yellow card we've seen in like 3 sets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my argument is that for our format, for EBO3 plus 1/2 of EBO4, right? What really got pumped by EBO3 were all the decks that beat Emu's bad matchups previously.
Yeah.
Mihawk to me might as well be tier 2 now because it's so bad into removal. Like other green decks,
Yeah.
like Bonnie, even Carrot. Like I'm trying to think of like other Smoker, Red Green Smoker. They have leeway to play that 3-cost Tashigi. Mihawk doesn't. You only have one turn we can play it. It's your 3-Dawn turn. The rest of the game you have to play on curve because Mihawk is the like most curve centric deck we've probably seen
Shanks.
since I don't even
Shanks.
know like
Shanks.
Shanks.
He's
yeah.
very similar.
Yeah, right?
We said it before. He's very similar to Shanks in like a lot of the same issues. You know, only you get on your 7 Dawn turn, you're getting the -1 instead of the 10.
Yeah, but I'm with Dean. I think Emu's the best deck in the format. I think if Emu wasn't around, I think it'd be Nami. But since Emu is here, again, the issue that I've played Emus enough, and I think I'm a good enough Nami pilot where I can make that matchup pretty even. But it's a rough matchup.
Yeah,
And
Hey,
the Emu
I'm teching for you now.
the emu has to misplay. Again, this is where the last conversation with Pudding comes in, right? My only opportunity to win with Nami is I have to Pudding and then play that unblockable. I have to get you to 0 and then Pudding play that unblockable event, or I have to Blaze Slice, rest the Warcury, and then try to play around that way, or Hina, and try to play around the Warcury. So now you only have one blocker, and then I have however many swings I have to get through the Mars and whatever the last remaining life you have. Hopefully it's 0, but that's it.
but I understand that, and I don't know. I still feel like, I know that we're not putting him at tier 0, but I just feel like in terms of Emu in general, like when I play an Emu with these other decks, right? You know, like say for Zach went on a run, the format before that, just killing Mihawks, and then near the end, Mihawks caught onto him, I think. But like, you know, there was a good 4 to 5 weeks where Zach would go there and it's like, oh, it's a Mihawk, it's dead, right? And like it was me and 3 other Mihawk players going, what the fuck is going on with Zach? Just killing Mihawks left and right. You know, with arguably he's reminiscing. but I feel like but that's my point, is like there's still way more. It doesn't feel like a 7-3 matchup every time you're playing Emu with another deck.
No, but I think I don't think that's what we're talking about, like a tier 0 format. Like it still wins. It has a winning matchup into almost everything else currently.
It's just a big gatekeeper. Like you have to play.
On paper has a win
Yeah,
rate.
Blue Red has I think it has bad matchups.
And Boa.
It's more,
Right,
yeah, but
but
I think Boa is a bad matchup for it. Yeah,
Sure, but I think this is where Dean was saying. I think like again, if I use Nami and I play a Boa, that Boa is losing. It doesn't matter. I can be brain dead, and my corpse will beat that Boa.
That's crazy.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah, I just think it's like the only thing that kept Emu from being the best deck last format, you know, like 2 weeks ago before EBO3 came out, was Mihawk. And maybe like a really good Dofi that can stomp Emus, right? Those are the only things that were keeping Emu from being like undisputed best deck in format. Now it's like, okay, Mihawk's not that good anymore because all these new decks just clobber it with removal, right? And yeah, there's still ways. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, Purple Yellow Rosinante doesn't destroy Emu. A good Dofi doesn't destroy Emu. Like there's decks, right? But I'm also not going to sit here and be like, you know, matchups or like your even spread into the format matters. So like even those decks that Emu has a pretty bad matchup into, if you take second and you're able to like ground death plus Mars, whatever protection they have, or you know what I mean? Like it's like Nami, there is tools to beat every single matchup in the deck just naturally. It's super consistent. It has 8 searchers. It draws 2 cards a turn.
Again, it's why I think for this format, like Dean's saying, I think having like a flat and even matchups is probably the most important thing. I think Emu has that. I think Nami to a certain extent has that. She has like 1 or 2 really bad matchups, but otherwise I think it's pretty flat.
Nami, I disagree, Dean, with a little bit of your assessment on Nami. I think in general it's just the play style just doesn't suit. It's just a different play. Like, I understand how you feel about it, because me and Dean both played Nami in the Heroines Cup. I played the Nami with like a disability because I was playing Gecko Moria with it.
Oh, you played the Thriller Slop?
Yeah, I played the Thriller Slop. Yeah, and it just didn't work.
It doesn't work till Borso.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like Nami has, I don't know, Nami has a lot of has problems and deficiencies, but there's just a lot of strength, and I see a lot of people doing so well with her and enjoying the stuff that we don't like about it as the reason they stay in the format, and the reason that they pick that as the best deck.
Yeah. What is the hang up that you guys don't like about it? I'm very curious.
I don't it just feels very I don't know how to describe it, like, because I know you're supposed to pitch. There's a frequent point every time where I'm trying to pitch for that leader effect, right? Well, one, it feels dependent on curve. I don't see 5-cost Nami. It feels much harder, right? And
you
then like
so many
also
good plays,
so many other good plays.
Yeah, you have a lot of good plays. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know the deck very well, but I always find myself like having to make a Sophie's choice whenever I'm pitching that card for the effect, and then like if they're just swinging 7s into me, it just becomes like way harder with card advantage that I would rather have,
Skill issue.
I just don't think the deck's good.
You don't?
Yeah, like respectfully, I think pivot ability is very important in decks. Like Emu has ultimate pivot ability. Blue Purple Sanji has great pivot ability. Those decks naturally have to have a high power ceiling to be good. Unless your pivot ability is insane, like Lucci, right? Like you can just always clear your opponent's board. Nami isn't like that. You can most of the time clear your opponent's board. Emu, you can most of the time clear your opponent's board. The thing is, Emu and Blue Purple Sanji, the power ceiling on just your units makes up for it. Respectfully, playing like a 7-cost that heals you a life and draws a card isn't that crazy.
No.
The crazy part is that you can't clear it because you have to take a life, right?
Yeah, that's
if I'm Emu, I'm just gonna play 5-7Ks and hit your face a bunch of times, and it doesn't really matter, right?
I think the issue that you're
I think that's a fair point with the pivot ability. Yeah,
I think the issue that you're running into is the list that I'm running with Nami is super pivotable. It's not a matter of I'm not trying to clear. I'm not trying to control board anymore. I'm playing purely for tempo and for value.
Oh no, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Nami has ultimate pivotability, but at the cost of not having a high power ceiling.
Absolutely.
I'd also argue it's at the cost of consistency.
Yeah.
You're not as consistent as
you're not as consistent anymore. But I think the deck has enough card draw and enough cycling where you can get to the point where you're gonna pretty much see everything you need. It's just a matter of do you see it when you need to see it, right? And it's a matter of like, but again, the deck has so many tools where a lot of times you can pivot into, okay, this isn't optimal, but this is okay for now until I see the pieces I need.
I think the consistency is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, right.
The high end is like the high end that you're running into that, again, the tech that people started taking out, but I completely disagree with, is the new gate. There's a lot of situations where the new gate pushes you over the top of like, okay, I just win now.
Yeah, I think that package with like that's why I was playing the Thriller Bark package and the heroin stuff, and that felt significantly
it's really bad
weaker. It just doesn't feel well. I was doing it because I was like, oh, there's something I may be missing. I know how to play Thriller Bark package pretty well because I played Luffy. Yeah, missing Borso, but even there were some people who won Heroines Cup without Borso in here, right? With the Thriller Bark package, and I think it's just specifically designed to counter Boa, and then once people have caught on to the fact that it's countering Boa, they pivot there, and then you're kind of
Thriller Bark package is also counterintuitive to Nami. Nami, you're not meant to take life like Yellow Luffy, so it's
again what mitigates that where you're now I get extra healing is the Borso, because now I'm healing, I have blocks when I need them, and then now I can survive and be okay, right?
Yeah, and it's a lot harder.
I like the Thriller Bark package. It didn't really give me any problems. it definitely feels weaker into the mirror, right? Because you're playing off 5k bodies. Like you're going down a card to play a 5k body that realistically is not going to swing into your opponent unless you don't have a curve play, because then you have a bunch of extra Dawn. Still, it's better into like the other decks, into like you said, Boa, Bonnie, Reiju, Yamato. It was great for me all day yesterday, right? But I don't know. I think Heroine's like a completely different situation. I look at the sim stats. You know, we were talking about like TCG matchmaking sim stats for 100 billion berry plus.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Yeah. Well, no, I was saying like I think that you're right, that it's a completely different format, so it has different parameters and everything like that. I think when we're talking about I don't know. I feel like it's not a glowing endorsement. I think you kind of hit it on the head, that it has a low, it's ultimate pivotability, low power ceiling, and not the best consistency, right? You know, I think it's a strong deck with a strong pilot, but like, yeah, just on paper, it doesn't have that. And I can understand what you would say you feel Emu's best deck in format, because on paper, right, if you're getting the 8 to 10 Dawn and you have 3 life, there's what's gonna happen. You know,
it's raps. It's genuinely raps.
It's the thing of like with Nami into Emu, the games that I've won or the games that I do well in is where before, and I get it pretty consistently, where you get them to, you know, right before their Elder turn, they're at like 1 or 2 life, or maybe 0, right? You get them low enough where, okay, now there's a challenge here where I can start to burn and be okay. And then it's a race against the clock. I should be at pretty high life. I should have something on board. And then you should be low enough where I can start threatening for the unblockable event. I can start threatening for pudding. I can start threatening for all this other stuff. If I'm not at that point, if they're still at 3 life, even if I'm at 6 life, I have 2 Robins on board, and like they're at 3 life still, I'm gonna lose that game. I don't have the time.
Well, I think that's fair. I do want to, like, I think this discussion on UI Nami's pretty smart and pretty you know, relevant. I don't want it to like take over the whole discussion about the Heroines format, because I do think that there are some other decks that have come in here that we really should talk about. We really should talk about yellow purple or purple yellow Rosie and blue purple Sanji, because I think those have become these 2 decks that, well, blue purple Sanji, a lot of people have been waiting for. Purple yellow Rosie, I think, came out of nowhere and has a lot of strength and has a lot of, it's just consistently being developed week after week, where we see new things happening with this deck.
So
just to get
blue
a
purple
quick
Sanji,
boilerplate, how do we
really quick? Blue purple Sanji, I don't think matters, because as strong as that deck is, it goes away in a month.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fair.
Yeah, but we're talking about Pomona, bro. I mean, yeah, like in a month we'll have OP15 and then Enel's the best deck.
Yeah,
right?
but
like,
I'm just saying, like the deck. I've never.
But if you
like Sanji for me is so reliant on Red Rock.
Yeah.
We're like,
and in regards to Dean's
gone.
argument though about Pomona, having Sanji at Pomona is, if Emu's best deck in matchups wise in format, Emu dunks on Sanji pretty hard.
Yeah, not that hard. I mean, their principle, they just pivot to that's what I like about Sanji, is like they have almost as much pivotability as Nami, because they play from their trash, but their principal threat is completely unremovable
and gets stronger as the game
before
goes on.
When they had to, well, yeah, like, okay, if you're gonna ground death plus Mars for 6 Dawn, my 3 Dawn body that most of the time is free, right? Because I just stealth whack it from trash.
And then you can pull back from trash very quickly. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I just remember Ikai doing a video about Sanji all way back when, and you know, he barely lost by like a couple counter, and that was without all the new stuff. You know, like I think the ability to grow your trash really quick with the 1 cost event that mills instead of bottom decks is really good.
Yeah.
Stealth Black is insane. Rage is insane. To me, like the top 3 decks unquestionably are Emu, Purple Yellow Rosie, and Blue Purple Sanji. If you're not playing one of those for Pomona, I think you're not throwing, because it's still a jungle format, anybody can win. But those are clear in both like their power ceiling and their pivotability.
I don't know if I entirely agree with that, but I know that they're strong decks. I think Purple Yellow Rosie is really strong. I think it's been interesting to see that deck, because I feel like, you know, the pieces were there. A lot of the pieces were there. I think it was that 6-8 EBO4. Huh?
it missed like 2 promos.
Yeah,
It
but once we got the
promos
promo,
recently.
yeah,
They're
I
like-
think was it the
Yeah, we got the 4-6.
yeah. Was it the
And
was
then
it the blocker that kind of locked it? Oh yeah, okay, this is gonna work.
Well, it was
Rosie
the
and
4-6, the promo that we got in the illustration box. It was a 6-8 from EBO4, like the first half that we got. And then the final tying part that I makes it tier 1. I think it was top of tier 2 without a doubt, last format, and which is why I got 4th at Nats, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a very skill-oriented deck too, by the way. So I think that really lends itself to like the top players performing well with it. But this heal law gives it a lot of pivotability that it didn't have before, because Emu and a lot, like the reason it's such a good matchup in the Emu now is previously they just had to pivot to like, yeah, I'm gonna Mars, you can protect it by taking a life, but then I'm gonna pivot to rushing you down, right? You don't have that option anymore as the Emu, because they're just gonna play like a 6, or for them it's a 6 law because they minus Dawn for their leader ability, right? Swing with it, heal, play a 7 law, buff their entire board by 1k and their leader, right? And then at that point it's like they have free blocks on you because they're a 6k leader, but they also have like 7k, 8k, and 9k blockers depending on the power bonus. I just think it stomps Emu, but because we're in like this triangle, right, where we have the blue decks that mitigate Rosie really well, and other decks like Mihawk, like blue purple Sanji, blue yellow Nami, you know, those decks check Emu's bad matches, but then Emu checks those decks, right? So it's kind of like this little triangle we have, even though it's a jungle format.
Yeah, it's not so much. It's not so much singular decks triangle. It's these buckets of decks triangles, right?
Yeah.
So would you argue that's a good meta?
Nope. I don't like it.
We've had conversations, but I think this is I think it's a healthy meta for growing the game somewhat in the face of what we've had to deal with.
For player base.
Like,
I think it's healthier than the I think
base.
it's healthier than the Dallas meta. Or not whatever the last.
What was Dallas meta?
The pre OP13. It's the UP meta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's healthier there because you still have like lines to prepare for, like, you know, categories. What do you do against decks that just red rock and grab blade all your shit? What do you do against decks that you can't remove their shit, like Emu or
there's
Nami,
pivotability within the decks to try to figure things out, right? Like as opposed to like if you were playing green purple Luffy at the time and you saw Boa, no, but if you saw Bello Betty, you should, you know, just shake his hand.
You shake your pants.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Like, and I think that's a good choice to have, and it makes it more skill oriented, but it does feel limiting, and it does feel like decks don't get to achieve their full power ceiling when you're having this wide
because you have to tech
of a
for
breadth
everything.
of everything swinging. So you don't really have choices of going. I think there was something really cool about, you know, again, we were talking about that Emu Ace Zoro format where you didn't have a lot of variety. Those three and the way those three interacted with one another, and the way you would have to pivot and make decisions in each of those games was very skill oriented. I think it's still skill oriented now, but it just feels more constrained. That power fantasy.
Ace is the perfect example of what the meta did to it.
Yeah.
Because again, when you look at the previous meta, Ace at peak powers of I only have to worry about these 2 decks. Cool, let me figure this out, and here's me at peak power. Versus now, there's so many tech cards that you have to put into Ace, where the power level of the deck is brought down so far because you're teching for it.
Yeah, you start losing your good matchups.
Yeah, you
like
start to lose.
Ace was a great matchup into Emu, right? And now it's like, okay, you're running round table. What else are they like? I've seen
Cavendish.
the Rush 7 cost Ace, Cavendish,
what's
all these things. Like
Virgo,
don't do anything against
Vista.
Emu. Vista, yeah.
Well, even
miss
look,
OP
and I know
meta.
I'm hung up on my cope sometimes, but I played like Yellow Luffy came out with the new yellow Robins and the Namis, right? You know, and I like that deck a lot. I do. And I played one of the people at our local, and he played a cost kid. Like just from okay, this is hard, but I can figure it out because I have high power level stuff. Went to another thing, played doing really well against other things, and went into 8 cost kid. And so now I have to like just remove things from playing the deck the way I'd like to play it. And I know you always have to tech for stuff, but it feels like the identity of the deck lowers the more you're trying to tech for this one wild like play that can just completely lose you the game like that.
Well, again, that's what we've been saying about jungle meta for a while, and trying to explain like why it's not. Again, for competitive integrity's sake, it's not fun and it's not that good, or for the health of the competitive side of the game. Again, it's really good for the health of the game and like getting people in and getting to play fun stuff. That's great.
Because everyone gets to play what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, if you want to find who the best player is and who, what is best and really optimized, it's terrible for that.
Well, so how many decks do you
best
think?
of one game. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of like rhetoric about that online lately. Is like, we're also best of one game where you can just, there's so many decks like Emu, right? Or Ace that are super dice roll dependent, that are just like at a huge disadvantage based on that, right? So we're already, in my opinion, not in a very skill-based game, even though like, we have the same players repeating over and over, right? I think they're playing to the best of their ability with micro decisions, even in the face of like huge disadvantages, because it's super hard to prepare for every single deck in the format, right? Especially in formats like this. Like when there's like 15 viable decks, your opponents likely are not going to be able to prepare for every single deck, but if you do, then you're advantaged, right? So yes and no. I think, great players thrive in the format we just had in 13, where there's only 2 or 3 decks, because you just learn those decks into the ground and then you can beat them. But they also, like, to a lesser extent, I think, the best players thrive in formats like this, where your opponent's going to sit down against you and you're playing Emu and they haven't played Emu since 13 and they forgot how to play it, or they're playing it with a new deck into Emu, right? And then they have to think, Purbio Rosinante, I've heard it's favored into Emu. I'm playing that, but I haven't played Emu since 13. What do I do, right? And then they don't see Virgo. They don't rip cards from your hand with Law. They don't save stuff with the leader effect. They don't do the things you need to win. You need to do to win that matchup. So yeah, I just want to cut in because there's been a lot of rhetoric about like One Piece isn't a skilled game lately because it's best of one and because there's so many decks that
Dean, are you in like a doom scroll, man? It's like
no,
there's been a conversation.
There's been a lot of conversations.
I know.
Imagine
but I
how
feel
long our
like
tournaments would be, though, if it was best of 3.
Oh, then it just turns into Rift Bound.
Oh my god.
Oh
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love best of one. That's why I play this game.
I think best of one is fair, but like look, I think there needs to be some discussion, and we talked about this months ago, right? Where I said like I'd love it to be best 2 out of 3, but I understand the length of this game and why it's like that, right?
Yeah.
I do think that there needs to be something done in order to, because I do think there is a skill-based like part of this. Obviously there's a skill-based, like there is skill involved in this game, but I do think that the fact that the best of one format reduces that significantly in a way that is that, because if you didn't have the dice roll, if you didn't have certain small things about the format, the game would be much more skill-based. But because we have this dice roll of, if you go second with Emu, if you go first with Emu, you're in a much more disadvantaged position. Like you're probably gonna, or if you run into this leader, you're kind of fucked, right? Like in other games like Street Fighter and other things like that, which do have some luck ingrained into the game. Let's be very real. There's still ways you can work out of that, and you see the best players working out of it. But man, does it feel like you have not only the odds stacked against you, but like the way this game is structured stacked against you when you're playing games like that.
I think it's hard to, this is something I was talking to Dean about too, of like what I love about TCGs, and it's different than other kind of hobbies or games or competitive things, where by very nature of the way card games work, you're inherently playing around or with RNG. By the way I draw, by the way my hand is,
you're gambling.
And so, but your ability as a player to mitigate or to roll with the RNG is part of that skill, right?
100%.
That's also why to win a tournament, you not only have to be the best player in the room, but you also have to be the luckiest. You have to get lucky in the dice roll. Yes, you can outskill
So it depends, right? I think for One Piece,
I think he's saying it's choices. Like everything, you're given like resources from luck, but your choices are the skill that gets
so it's
you
like,
in
hey,
or
I
out
don't
of the
draw
situation.
the card I need. Can I find my out? Right? Like you're looking for the line. What are you saying, Dean?
No, I was just responding to what Zach said. I think the luckiest, depending on the context, right? Like there's in the Swiss, like, you know, typical 9-round regional, like 5-12 cap, right? 9 rounds, whoever's undefeated is your winner. Absolutely. You just need to be the luckiest and a combination of best player in the room that knows your matchups and all these things, but you can have a hot day and do amazing, you know what I mean? But I think when you get to situations like Nats, where it's like top 32 convert to next day, you have top cuts, best 2 of 3, you have to get, like, assuming your opponent, like assuming stats is true and some people don't have just worse luck, which I'm a believer in just because of my own experience sometimes. But assuming everybody has equal variance, right? The best player or the better player in a given best 2 or 3 match should win. I disagree. I think really
right off what you said, there's equal variance. So you can always, someone will get slightly luckier and someone will get slightly unluckier, and that can stack so significantly in this game. 1 to 2 turns of them not seeing the right card, like 2 games in a row, that's 2 out of 3 gone right there, just because you got slightly unlucky.
Oh well, you can get luck sacked within a given 2 out of 3. I'm saying throughout top 32, right? Like you looked at top 8, it was stacked. I mean, so many pro players and even top 32, right? Stacked. And unfortunately, like, you know, Elijah Quimby is a player that I follow a lot, OPTCG grinder, and he had a team that went in with the best deck list in the room for Mihawk. I think of like their team members, 3 converted to top cut, and there was only 5 or 6 of them, which is crazy. And 2 of those 3 died to the same red green Luffy. So think about that. That's bad variance because red green Luffy's insanely good into Mihawk. So it's bad variance that the same red green Luffy killed both of them, right? But then it's also bad variance because of seeds, because of other things like that. So, but my point is that throughout a day, assuming variance is equal, right? For all players, like I sit down against Chris and we both have the potential to draw a bad hand or a bad card, or draw a good hand or draw into a playable hand, right? Assuming that's equal, you might get lucky in one best 2 out of 3, right? But to make it to the finals, and that's how many that's like what, 6 or 5 best 2 out of 3s.
Yeah.
I think just best 2 out of 3 rewards skill to a much greater extent. And but I don't know if that's an argument for One Piece.
No,
I don't want best 2 out of 3, so maybe I should shut up.
We don't want to have 2 out of 3 for One Piece, I think, because of the length of the game. Unless we want to do chess clocks, because I'm cool with chess clocks. Yeah, not for local.
You're cool with chess?
That's insane.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the pigs for the slaughterhouse.
That's
thank you.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't still play that bad, all right? Okay, get out of here.
I'm not bad, just slow.
I'm not even joking. And Zed, this isn't a thing on you.
Famous last words before I get jumped. Okay.
If I go on Amazon right now and I buy a chess clock and I bring it into locals, you're going to time or getting close to timing out almost every round.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Do it. You won't. Do it.
Dean's like, I'm not wrong, right? If I buy a chess clock right now.
Okay.
But you know what? It's done to you. Like you spend the first 5 minutes of the match pile shuffling. just don't. But I also can't talk though, because if I go to Japan, apparently I'll be banned because I'm the biggest card flicker.
Oh my god,
he's
dude!
The being crazy.
Yeah.
He was doing it yesterday, and I was like, I have to ask Dean how many cards he has in his hand, but I'm just gonna count by the flicks I hear.
That's what I do. I just count by my opponent flicking.
Yeah. And if they don't shuffle like a sweat, Dean's like, I gotta ask these questions now and figure it out.
Yeah. Or if you don't do that, I know I might have an easy match.
How is Zach escaping this discussion, by the way? How is Zach like famous for? Well, that's cheeky. Oh well, I mean,
Zach
okay,
can talk to himself. That's fine. The thing,
Zach will recreate a beautiful mind looking for play lines on a fucking chalkboard before he plays something.
Yeah, and the play line is just it's just 4 Dawn rest stage play Saturn.
I was like, it's 3 Dawn rest stage play Saturn.
There was a point where he did that on the second turn. I was like, what the fuck are we doing, Zach? What are we doing?
My hand was just so
Do I
perfect.
play Saturn or Mercury?
Dude, I always laugh because when Dean and I play either webcam or play in person or whatever, and like we'll go whole turns where we won't even say anything. I'll just go, I play something, he goes, yeah. And then like the next turn goes and we just go back and forth, and like we just know we could play this game in our heads. If we know what we have in our hands, we can just play the game in our heads. There's a play line.
You know what's horrible? There's people at our I feel both insulted and also kind of vindicated, because there are people at our locals who we talk about slow playing a lot, and if they're getting talked about openly, oh god.
Oh yeah,
bad.
don't get it twisted, Zed. You play slow, but you are by no means the biggest fish in the pond.
Again, there's times where they call the pairings, and I see the pairings, and I see who you're paired up with, and I go, I'm gonna go get something to eat.
Oh yeah, dude. We're all thinking of one person, and if we see Zed play that one person, at that point, dude, just go smoke a cigarette. It's gonna be a minute.
We can go grab food and come back, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Or if they're against Dean, because then they'll say, no, we're not going to go to overtime, and we have to play this out. Even though
locals. I mean,
to be fair, I haven't gone to time in like a minute. Like I went to time yesterday because it was somebody who was brand new to the game, but I haven't gone to time in like.
A Heroine's Cup, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, I haven't gone to time in like a week, like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm improving, okay? I am a work in progress, all right? And I love me.
I'm a changed man.
Fuck all of you, okay? I'm just gonna call this blatant Islamophobia.
What is Chris? Chris is the only one. No. We're not leaving this. Everybody got picked on for something. What does Chris do?
That's irritating.
Chris?
I don't do anything irritating.
Oh, Chris will tell you hey man, I'll be back, and then he won't ever come back. He'll leave. Chris is the kind of guy to say, I'm gonna go get a pack of cigarettes and then abandon you.
That's crazy.
Chris will throw a match for shits and giggles. Chris will be like, this is probably a really bad play, and I know we're in finals, but I'm curious. Yeah. And then he'll do a horrible play, and I'm like, why would you do that?
Chris, you see Chris's energy drained throughout the day. Like when he comes there, he's like, I'm excited to try this out. And then 3 matches in, I'll be like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, I'm X2. He's just like so upset.
Well, because like there's
I feel like he's pretty okay usually with
I don't care if I win or lose. Like, it doesn't matter. Like for me,
it feels like he's there to learn most of the times.
That's true. I'm there to learn.
I'm there to like get better. And again, the thing, I don't throw on purpose when I'm like, I don't throw on purpose of like, oh, I'm just gonna lose this game. It's, I wonder if this works, and I'll do the dumb play, and like whether it works or not.
I'm gonna buy you a ring like Chris, because you look like you're in fucking Paranormal Activity right now. Okay.
Right.
Oh my god.
Right.
Jesus. Flashbang. Oh my god. Again.
Oh god. Yeah.
Look at all that bulk. Look at all that bulk for the kids. Oh my god.
All right, and like one last thing before we let's end this on a little bit of a preview of OP15 for right now, or we can talk about the market, but I feel like we're
fuck the market, dude.
Oh
my god.
Well, let's talk a little bit about OP15 and what we can kind of expect from there, right? We got a couple. It came out I think only like a week or two ago, right? And so we have yet another new meta. A lot of decks disappearing, a lot of decks appearing. It's very early on, but it seems like Enel is really strong. Seems like there are some really cool things cooking with yellow Luffy. And it seems like the tried and true with Boa and everybody who benefits from that 5-cost Borsalino are still on the table. So how are we feeling from what you guys have seen from OP15? What has you excited? What has you worried? What are you thinking?
This is a side topic. I'm so sorry. Do you just only play Luffy's? I was just thinking about that right now. He's played yellow Luffy, black, purple Luffy. What was the other Luffy?
Green, purple.
Yellow Luffy, black, green, purple
Green,
Luffy.
Green, purple.
I played Mihawk. I played Zoro.
Oh, damn, yeah, you did play Mihawk.
Yeah.
I was like, does this man just play Luffy?
He plays green.
No.
The Luffy cope all day.
I like green.
Do you guys see the chart, by the way, that came out on Reddit the other day?
I played Emu. I played Emu with you, Zach. I asked you to come over and teach me Emu things, Zach.
Oh yeah.
Why am I
have
getting
a short-term memory.
assassinated on this podcast? What is this? What is this? You bomb Iran and then you bomb me? What is like?
Oh.
are you taking out the dictator?
Octuple down.
Yeah.
Octuple down.
That's 2 full downs of 4th and 20
During the month
QB
of
sneak.
Ramadan, no less. Okay, thank you. Thank
No,
you.
Dean, he immediately
Oh my God.
he onside kicked and then he QB kneeled 4 times.
Why
He
do I feel
fair
like you
caught
guys
it,
don't watch?
and then
why do you guys
ran
feel- why do I feel like
anyways,
you- I feel like
and
you guys
got his
don't watch
knees
enough
taken
football.
out.
You guys don't watch enough football to get for these references to be valid. All right?
What?
I don't,
That's me.
yeah. Oh no, you do.
That's
You
really
do.
rich saying
You
that to
do.
Dean though.
You do. You okay? All right. Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
my whole life for 20 years.
What?
What?
Okay, Dean. All right, I'm not saying you. All right.
Now you deserve
Me?
to
You're
get
saying
roasted.
Chris, Chris played football
I,
too.
I worked at
You play
ESPN.
football?
Yeah, I worked at ESPN. What the fuck?
Wait, doing football shit?
What
I covered
doing?
basketball and like general sports for ESPN.
This is actually like yesterday, dude. This is like yesterday. I said, yeah, well, Chris told me you're supposed to take second with Nami. And Zed goes, I don't listen to Chris. About Blue Yellow
That's
Nami?
insane. That's insane. Why?
What? That's like not listening to me about Black Yellow Luffy.
No, there was 2 other people. There was 2 other people who were playing Blue Yellow Nami.
Yeah.
And like were like cooking me. Like I took second, right? Because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Chris told me to take second, and I got cooked.
No, you
taking second.
You
don't take
and
second
that's why I
in
was
the
like
mirror.
annoyed.
You take first in the mirror and second everything else.
Okay, wait.
Why?
Now,
What?
you say why?
Why?
Why to me or why?
Yeah,
to Chris?
why is it different in the mirror?
Because you want it becomes a Nami Robin war. So you want to get the Robin down first.
Yeah, but you can't play. Okay, you can play the Nami on curve, but you can't play the Robin on curve, right? Then you just don't have leader ability, and they fuck you.
Well,
3 ways to Sunday.
again,
promo.
you need girl promo. That's where you really hunt for girl promo.
Fair.
Just whoever
Girl
sees
promo
girl.
is cracked.
Yeah, it's literally it's dude.
I played-
oh wait,
I
I
played
got
a
it.
match
I
this-
got it. Wait, because Dean and Zed weren't there last night. I was playing a guy that we're all thinking of, and
Oh, really? You played him
Yeah.
yesterday?
and so
I just
I
want to clarify. I wanted to do an OP15 preview, and we're like, yo, this fucking guy
Zed,
we know.
Zed, wait,
Instead
you gotta
you get
wait.
Chris
You gotta-
recap of
'cause
locals.
Your face when I say this, I had 2 girl promo out. I was bouncing all his stuff. He couldn't do anything. He was stuck. He was like he didn't know what to do. And so what is his big play? He thinks for 5 minutes. What is his big play? He had DMGs both of the girl promos to kill both.
There's an Epstein joke in there somewhere.
Dude.
Is that going to get us demonetized, Zed, or does that
wait,
actually get us
actually,
like good
Whoa!
blood points?
Whoa, Dean!
you know what's more out of pocket? No, you know what Dean,
he
you know what
delayed?
Dean said last night?
The delay.
You know what Dean said
'Cause
last
I
night?
didn't hear what Dean was saying. I was like, why would you mention? Oh God,
No,
Dean.
you know why? You know
Is that getting us
You know what
demonetized?
Dean said?
for
You know what
sure?
Dean said
We're
last night?
moving on. I'm
No,
cutting
you know what
That
Dean
gets
said last
edited
night? We're playing BB Nami, right? And I have a girl promo on the board. And Dean goes, well, if I pop the girl promo, I can get more aggressive. He goes, I want to pop the girl. If I pop the girl, I get more aggressive.
Yes, because then you're swinging for less, Dawn, and I don't need to leave 2 blockers up so I can turn my Nami sideways. Bro, don't give the whole context, dude. Don't make me look like a predator.
Dude, when you say,
my God,
I'm gonna
dude.
pop the
has
girl
to get cut.
so I can get more aggressive, it's crazy business.
Okay, dude. Next time I'm popping your fucking Kikunojo with Rayleigh, and then you can heal life. Just so I don't look like a fucking predator on the podcast. Thank you. I'm gonna start making worst plays to give you less anecdotes to talk about. Oh my God. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Go for Lethal War in Iran edition.
Oh, dude, that's a perfect end.
Yeah. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh my God.
If you're with the U.S. government, please stop. We're tired. We can't. We can't.
9?
Yes, 9.
9.
Dean.
What's the 9? I'm looking at Chris, bro. He's the math guy. What's the 9?
The math guy?
Honestly,
We play card games where it's about. What are you talking
Honestly,
about?
yeah.
What are you
Dean said
doing,
Chris is the
Dean?
math guy because I'm
Chris
fucking
is the
Asian.
math guy?
That's insane.
Oh, that's right.
Chris has been the one
Chris is the
telling me.
math guy. You're the Hollywood guy, and I'm the fly in the buildings guy.
I am the Hollywood guy.
Is that what this is?
I got all the Jewish
and
weather
Zach
machine
just
money,
owns
dude.
property,
Oh my god.
people, and land.
Dean, what does Jewish noise sound like?
Dude, wait. I'm too far away from my coins. Fuck.
All right,
God damn it.
We gotta go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Go for the We'll be back again. Hopefully next week. We're doing this next week.
Yeah.
Yes, next week, please.
All right. We'll catch y'all soon.
Bye.